We're back. We've been talking about an extraordinary first interview with former senior FBI official Lisa Page, a frequent target of Donald Trump's. Here's what she says about the Justice Department. Quote, "The thing about the FBI that is so extraordinary is that it is made up of a group of men and women whose every instinct is to run toward the fight. It's in the fiber of everybody there. It's the lifeblood. So it's particularly devastating to be betrayed by an organization I still care about so deeply. And it's crushing to see the noble Justice Department, my Justice Department, the place I grew up in, feel like it's abandoned its principles of truth and independence." I can't say this is the first time I've heard that sentiment expressed.
No, we've heard that over and over from people who have been at the Justice Department for the last 3 years, really going back to the very beginnings of the Trump administration, starting with the moment when he fired Jim Comey. And I think the frustration she expresses in that article, obviously she has a lot to say about Donald Trump, but when she talks about what's happened at DOJ, she's not really talking about Donald Trump. We expect that kind of behavior from him. I think everyone that watched the campaign expected that he was going to...
All right, so name names. Who's she talking about?
I think she's talking about Rod Rosenstein.
What did he do?
Talking about Jeff Sessions. Well, Rod Rosenstein in particular made the decision to release her text messages and to release them before the IG report was completed, the IG report that examined them in their full context, and then to hand them over to Congress. And what's notable is the context in which he did it. He didn't just turn them over kind of in the sort of, regularly scheduled production of documents. He turned them over to Congress the night before he was due on the Hill and was expected to get beaten up by Republicans for not acceding to some of their crazy demands. He basically threw Lisa Page and Pete Strzok to the wolves to save himself, and it was a despicable thing for him to do. It's one of the things, along with the memo he wrote justifying the Comey firing, that I think said to a lot of department veterans like me, that Rod Rosenstein was not the protector of the department's independence that we all expected him to be.
The Rod Rosenstein picture is muddy, and taking that sort of chapter and putting it alongside the fact that Republicans moved to impeach Rod Rosenstein. Democrats are now going through this very deliberate, very thoughtful, fact-driven, a case proven 17 times over process about impeaching Donald Trump for abuses of power carried out in public and confessed to. Republicans were going to impeach Rod Rosenstein.
Yes, they were.
They drafted articles of impeachment. They were so it's you're right, but it was also an extraordinary moment for the department, I'm sure.
Well, and remember, the person who prevented that was Paul Ryan, who kind of put the horses back in the barn, so to speak.
You can call them horses.
Yeah, I mean, this was a Mark Meadows-driven production when he was trying to... I'm not going to
say... Jordan.
Yeah, it was the Freedom Caucus, which had extreme power the last Congress, and Paul Ryan did a lot to try to, hold them back, and successfully did for a long time. But listen, this is the politics of today, right? I mean, people justify certain actions because they believe it will get them in the good graces of President Trump. I mean, you see that now on Capitol Hill, where you have voices of traditional foreign policy kind of turning away from that and embracing conspiracy theories, embracing far-flung ideas. And we don't know, you can't get into somebody's head, but what people are doing lines up with what the president believes and the president says. So you could put those two things together and come up with a conclusion.
Can I say one quick thing about that, which is, you're right, they were going after Rod Rosenstein pretty hard. They went after my boss, Eric Holder, pretty hard. They threatened to impeach him. They held him in contempt. I never saw him more forceful, more angry, and more committed to do the right thing than when he was on the Hill and they were going after the people that worked for him in the Justice Department, where he would say, you want to come after me? Fine. You want to come after the people that work for the Justice Department? You have to go through me. That's a leader's job. And it's what Jeff Sessions and Rod Rosenstein and Bill Barr have never gotten with this president.
Go ahead.
I was going to make that point once this IG report is released next week. And, it debunks a lot of these conspiracy theories, but also is going to shine the light on some serious problems that they did putting this FISA together. What's Chris Wray going to do, right? Is he going to have his moment and finally stand up? You've heard from him every now and then, I wouldn't call this spying, but is he actually going to stand up and do a forceful news conference and defend the agents and the staff of the FBI, the country's premier law enforcement agency? What is he going to do? And is he going to continue to allow... None of these facts might matter, by the way. None of the facts that come out in the IG, the Freedom Caucus, they might not care. Right? They're just going to keep saying what they're saying. Trump will keep saying what he's saying. But what is Wray going to do? When is enough? And, the FBI, when the IG report comes out and shows there wasn't some, great conspiracy to take down the president, the FBI is just going to, the Trump have spent the last 2 or 3 years demolishing that institution.
And I mean, I guess, and we'll have to have this conversation another day, but the FBI fighting white nationalism, the president who plays footsie with it and sees good people on both sides, the FBI fighting Russian meddling while the president's stooges in Congress echo Putin's talking points, and the president, I'm sure, will be very reluctant to abandon the conspiracy theories that have served him so well. So I think it's a great point, a space to watch. What does Chris Wray do?
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.